Hey, pre-algebra. Today we have two lessons. First, we're going to talk about congruent figures. When we're talking about figures, we're talking about shapes. So triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, things like this, shapes. And we're going to talk about how they are congruent to each other. What does congruency mean? It means they have the same shape and they have the same size. So here we have a triangle, and I've got this triangle here in Word. So I am going to literally copy and paste this triangle, and you will see that it is identical. And that is exactly what congruency means. It means it is the exact same shape, exact same size. It's as if you copied and pasted the figure. Notice we have sides of 10 millimeters and 10 millimeters. We have sides of 28 millimeters and 28 millimeters. We have a side of 26 millimeters and 26 millimeters. Not only the sides are congruent, when we say they're congruent, we mean the corresponding sides, the same position, just different location, same position, different location. That's what corresponding means. The corresponding sides are congruent, but also the corresponding angles are congruent. Notice 90 degrees and 90 degrees. Those are corresponding angles and congruent in congruent figures. 69 degrees and 69 degrees, 21 degrees and 21 degrees. So corresponding angles and corresponding sides are congruent. Corresponding sides are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. Corresponding means same position, different location. So let's take a look at an IXL problem that I found that you might find interesting. Complete the congruent statement. So for this, we need to find the corresponding parts. Notice that the letter H is first. H, vertex H, that angle is 56 degrees. So we go over here to this figure on the right. What angle is 56 degrees? W is. So H is first, W has to go first. Okay. What is second? F is second. What is angle F? It is 100 degrees. What is 100 degrees over here? U. So U has to go second. And what is third? Well, G is third. What is the measure of angle G? Measure of angle G is 24. Measure of angle V is 24. So that is our congruency statement. The congruency statement tells us a lot. It tells us what angles are congruent to each other. So we know H has to be congruent to W. And I know that without even looking at my figure. I know that just by looking at my congruency statement. First and first. Those are corresponding positions. Therefore, they have to be congruent angles. F is second, U is second. They are in corresponding positions. They have to be congruent angles if these two triangles are congruent to each other, and they are. G is third, V is third. Corresponding positions, congruent angles. G has to be congruent to V. Not only that, but the same is true with the sides. Take a look at HF, side HF, side HF. That's first and second. What's first and second in the other part of our congruency statement? WU. HF has to be congruent to WU. Now let's look at the triangles and double check. HF, 20 kilometers. WU, 20 kilometers. Let's do this for the other sides as well. Just using the congruency statements. FG, second and third. UV, second and third. FG, second and third, congruent to UV, second and third. Well, what is FG? FG is 40 kilometers. What is UV? UV is 40 kilometers. That is not a coincidence that they are congruent to each other. And let's do the last pair. The last pair is going to be first and third. First and third is HG. First and third is WV. So HG, again, I haven't even looked at the figures yet, has to be congruent to WV. And let's conclude that that is true by looking at the figures. HG is 48 kilometers. WV is 48 kilometers as well. They are in fact congruent. So once you have this congruency statement, you know all sorts of stuff. You know what angles are congruent and you know what sides are congruent. So let's go to IXL now and let's work this problem out. Triangle HFG. H is 56 degrees. W is 56 degrees. H is first, W is first. F. F is 100 degrees. U is 100 degrees. F is second. U is second. G is 24 degrees. V is 24 degrees. G is third. V has to be third. I'm going to submit that. Let's take a look at another one. All right, the same thing holds true with quadrilaterals as well. Let me pause. Let's get it copied over. I'm actually not going to copy it over. So here we have quadrilateral KLMN. K is first. 72 degrees. K is 72 degrees. What's 72 degrees over here? Q is and S is. All right, so let's just put Q. It actually would not matter which one goes there. Either one would work. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, L is next. L. All right, so we're going from K down the 45-mile side to L. So from Q down the 45-mile side to R. R. Okay, again, how did I do that? We were looking at K. K is next to L. L is 108 degrees. You also have to take a look at what side you went down to get there. So Q and R. And then next, M. How do we get from L to M? Well, from L, that's 108 degrees, to M, 72 degrees. Same thing for R. R, we have to go down this 40-mile side to get to S. Okay, and then finally N. How do we get from M to N? We have to go down this side from 72 degrees to 108 degrees. So we were at S, and we have to go to P. Okay, let's double check to make sure these angles are congruent. K, 72 degrees. Q, 72 degrees. L, 108 degrees. R, 108 degrees. M, 72 degrees. S, 72 degrees. N, 108 degrees. P, 108 degrees. So the congruent angles are in corresponding positions. Let's also make sure it goes in order, like as we walk around the figure, that it goes in order, like we're not jumping across the figure. So K, L, M, N. K, L, M, N. Yep, all in order. Q, R, S, P. Q, R, S, P. Yes, all in order. So we're going to submit that. Got it. Okay, it's a little more complicated with quadrilaterals. It's definitely simpler with triangles. Let's complete another congruency statement. I, J, K. What is I? I is the 90-degree angle. V is the 90-degree angle. Boom. V. Okay. J, what is J? J is the 45-degree angle. All right. Now, doesn't matter which one you go to because W and X are both 45 degrees. Either one would work. There's actually two correct answers to this. So we're going to go from V to W, I guess. And then finally, K is 45 degrees and X is 45 degrees, so X there. You could have also said you could have also said V, XW. V, XW would have also worked there, but the V would have to be first because V and I are corresponding and congruent here. Let's try another. What do we have here? What are the corresponding parts of the figures below? Select all that apply. Okay, is M congruent to X? Let's take a look. Is M 45 degrees congruent to X? 23 degrees. No. Is NM is 10 feet, congruent to VW? VW is 10 feet. Those are congruent. Is L congruent to V? Okay, let's see here. L is 23 degrees. V is 112 degrees. No. Is M congruent to W? M is 45 degrees. W is 45 degrees. Yes, those are congruent to each other. All right, are these congruent figures? Yes or no? Let's see. 10, 10, 24, 24, 18, 18. The 112-degree angle is where the 10-foot side and the 18-foot side meet. 112-degree angle is where the 10-foot side and the 18-foot side meet. The 23-degree angle is where the 18-foot side and the 24-foot side meets. the 23-degree angle is where the 18-foot side and the 24-foot side meets, and the 45-degree angle is where the 24-foot side and the 10-foot side meets. The 45-degree angle is where the 24-foot side and the 10-foot side meet. So yes, these are congruent triangles. What are the corresponding parts in the figures below? Select all that apply. KJ, let's find KJ. KJ is 32 centimeters. Is that congruent to UV? UV, 45. So no, those aren't congruent. LK. LK is 45. UV is 45. Yes, those are congruent. Angle L is 40 degrees. Angle U is 40 degrees. L is congruent to U. Angle K is 24 degrees. Angle T is 116. Those are not congruent, so no. All right. Let's see here. I'll just do this one quickly. L is 111. S is 111. Yes. LJ is 17. SQ is 17. Angle K is 48. Angle S is not 48. Angle J is 21. Angle Q is 21. So we have 3 of the 4 this time. Okay. Completely congruent statement. All right, H is 39 degrees. What's 39 degrees over here? Well, V is, let's take a look at the sides here. So the H is 39 degrees. That's where 27 meets 35. 27 meets 35 at V. Also happens at T. So you could put T or V here. I'm going to put V. Doesn't matter which. Why did I put V? I had to pick one of the two. Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. I, to get from H to I, we have to travel down the 27-meter side to get to I. So we started at V, and we're going to travel down the 27-meter side to get to S. So S comes next. Okay, and then after I comes J. How do we get from I to J? We have to travel down the 35-meter side. So from S down the 35-meter side, we get to T. Okay, and then the last has to be U. So U is last. Another congruency statement. Let's see. Oh, these tick marks indicate what is congruent. So 1 tick mark is congruent to 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks congruent to 2 tick marks, 3 tick marks congruent to 3 tick marks. What are the corresponding parts in the figures below? Select all that apply. I. Where is angle I? 21 degrees. Is that congruent to P, 21 degrees? Yes, it is. H. H is 40 degrees. R is 40 degrees. Those are congruent as well. IJ. IJ is 2 tick marks. PQ. PQ is 2 tick marks. 2 tick marks congruent to 2 tick marks. Those are congruent as well. Angle J and angle Q. Angle J is 120 degrees. Angle Q is 120 degrees. Those are congruent as well. All 4 this time. Ooh, okay, arcs, same idea. 1 arc congruent to 1 arc, 2 arcs congruent to 2 arcs, 3 arcs congruent to 3 arcs, 4 arcs congruent to 4 arcs. We don't know what these angle measures are. We did not know what the side lengths were in the previous slide, but we do know what is congruent to what. So first off, LM, that is right here, 17 feet. Is that congruent to WX? WX is 17 feet. So those are congruent. Angle M. Angle M is 2 tick marks. Angle X is 2 tick marks. Those are congruent. Yes. Angle L. Angle L is right here, 1 arc. Angle V. Angle V is 4 arcs. Those are not congruent to each other. Angle L is 1 arc. Angle W is 1 arc. Those are congruent. Very good. Let's keep. What are the corresponding parts? Okay, just like the last one, looking for tick marks here, looking for angle measures as well. I and V. I is 142. V is 142. Those are congruent. F. F is 66. U. U is 69. Not congruent. G and T. G is 83. T is 83. Those are congruent. And they are corresponding to. Angle F. Angle F is 66. Angle S is 66. It's as simple as that. It's just a matching game, guys. All right. What are the corresponding parts of the figures below? Select all that apply. Again, these are congruent figures. Congruent figures, corresponding parts are congruent to each other. That includes the sides and the angles. Corresponding sides are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent as well. JI, what is JI? JI is 33 yards. WX is 33 yards. Those are congruent. IH is 39 yards. UV is 17 yards. Those are not congruent. JI is 33 yards. UV is 17 yards, not congruent. KJ is 12. VW is 12. Those are congruent. All right. What are the corresponding parts in the figure below? Again, 2 arcs congruent to 2 arcs, 1 arc congruent to 1 arc, 3 arcs congruent to 3 arcs. Same thing for the tick marks. 1 tick mark congruent to 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks congruent to 2 tick marks, 3 tick marks congruent to 3 tick marks. So LJ is 3 tick marks. TS is 1 tick mark, not congruent. Angle L is 3 arcs. Angle S is 3 arcs. Those are congruent. JL is 3 arcs. US is 3 arcs. Those are congruent. KJ is 2 tick marks. US is 3 tick marks, not congruent. Okay, corresponding parts, same idea. NL is 1 tick mark. SR is 1 tick mark. Those are congruent. Angle N is 39 degrees. Angle S is 39 degrees. Those are congruent. Angle L is 119 degrees. Angle R is 119 degrees. MN is 2 tick marks. TS is 2 tick marks, so all 4 of them are congruent this time. Let's see here. Complete the congruent statement. J, where is J? It's 2 arcs. All right, so what's 2 arcs over here? 2 arcs is T or V. Well, we got J or H. What is J? J is where 1 tick mark meets 2 tick marks. Okay, what is H? H is where 1 tick mark meets 2 tick marks. So these are the same thing. So whether you want to choose V, 1 tick mark meets 2 tick marks, or if you want to choose T, 1 tick mark meets 2 tick marks, either one. Okay, but it's going to, whatever we choose first is going to dictate what comes next. So V, I'll choose that, right? J has 2 arcs, V has 2 arcs. So I'm going to say J corresponds to V. They are congruent to each other in this scenario. All right, how do we go from J to K? From J to K, we go down that 1 tick mark side. To travel from J to K, we travel down the 1 tick mark side. To go from V, we travel down the 1 tick mark side and we end up at W. How about H? H is 2 arcs. Okay, well, how do we get from K to H? From 1 arc to 2 arcs. We have to travel down that 2 tick mark side. So from W down the 2 tick mark side, we get to T, and then the last one has to be U. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much all there is to it. Good luck with this. Check back if you have any questions.